it's not a problem to want credit until not getting credit is now disincentivizing you and you now lack motivation. It's a problem when it's a problem. You recognizing that you will exploit anxiety to get something done is a massive aha and self-awareness. Yeah. And you going, I need to do a higher order of this. So that's actually better than me just like emotionally manipulating myself into doing stuff I don't want to do. So what's the higher order? And then going, oh, credit. Credit actually motivates me.
And credit, yeah.
Excitement and credit motivate me.
Hi, welcome back to the Personality Hacker Podcast. My name is Joel Mark Witt.
And I'm Antonia Dodge.
So, Antonia, I have noticed that my life is changing drastically right now. My whole life, I have had endless energy that I could create at will. I could just decide that I wanted to generate energy from myself, like my physical body, my sense of attunement, my mind, my thoughts, my entire energy system. My entire life, up until my mid-40s, I've been able to just will energy into existence whenever I need it. Like I could pull an all-nighter, I could run for days, I don't have to eat, I don't have to stop, I don't have to sleep. Not only could I generate that much energy all the time, but I would judge people who couldn't.
I know that too.
I would say, come on, this is not hard. You're being lazy. You're being uncommitted. You're being distracted. You're whatever.
If you really wanted it.
Right? If you really wanted it, you would generate energy like I will, at will.
Yep.
Just pull it from within and just make it happen. And I've met other people like this too. And we've always, talked about, it's crazy. People can't just decide something and go for it. They have to like rest all the time and plan and, it just frustrated me. Well, because of this, my whole life, I've been very promiscuous with energy. I didn't have this experience, but if I was born as like a trust fund kid, right, with my parents being billionaires or millionaires, and I never had to worry about money and I got an allowance, I could see myself maybe not feeling a respect for money potentially. Now, I'm guessing families like that train you to make sure you respect money because that's part of being in a family like that. But let's just assume you're in a dynamic where you have an abundance of things. I guess maybe the rest of us are like this more than maybe wealthy people. We have abundance of everything around us, and so we don't necessarily value it, and we may take it for granted, and we might be promiscuous with it. And so I think with me, I was very promiscuous energy because I thought I could just generate it at will, or it was always going to be available to me. It was abundant. So why not be wasteful with it? You don't need to conserve it ever. Just if you waste energy here, you'll have right again tomorrow. You'll just be able to generate it again. Now, all the INTJs are listening right now going, that's not true, Joel. That's not true. They're always about energy management, INJs in general. Not always, but sometimes. But I think that promiscuousness has created a ton of bad habits in my life. And so now, as my energy systems are shifting and changing, part of it is just I'm getting older. Part of it is I'm midlife and your body physically just changes and slows down. And I'm just like, no, and I'm trying to resist it.
Well, our cells start dying and they don't regenerate like they used to.
But I think part of it is the bad habits I've created and the fact that I am interested in different things now that require me, even if I did have the energy to be promiscuous with, it requires me to be better at managing it, apportioning it, and working with it. And I've noticed because I have this deficiency now, like with generating all this, like the energy is not working the same way it was. And I still am promiscuous with it as if I'm going to always have it endlessly. So I'll give a ton of it maybe early in the day, for example, or I'll stay up really late the night before and I'm dragging the next day or I'm having a hard time the day or the day after. And I also know I need to manage it more. I'm now struggling like almost the opposite of what I struggled with when I was younger. I'm struggling with motivation. I'm struggling with getting myself going. I'm struggling with balancing this properly and managing this in a real way. And I'm thinking, I wonder if other people feel this way too. I wonder if they've had a certain energy system and it changed on them and they lost the motivation they once had. Most of the times when we talk about motivation and energy, we're always talking to people that don't have it. Right? They're like, I wish I was motivated. I wish I had energy. I wish I knew how to get myself motivated. I've never struggled with that. I always knew how to motivate myself. I could get myself to do almost anything that I didn't want to do. I still am pretty good at that, but not not as good as I once was.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting to think you're not a person that resonates with this whole promiscuous energy thing, are you? You would probably feel, well, maybe you have some of it.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think I'm a person who's always like saw myself as low energy and I need to protect my energy. I feel like I've got a little bit of that Energizer bunny in me. I have an ability to just keep going, but I run at a slower pace than you do. Like I can just keep going and going and going as long as I don't go so quickly. Yeah. And I suspect that this is how we were trained. When you were young, you were raised in a teen camp environment.
Yeah, a lot of extrovert sensing.
And
go.
Well, and it was high octane, high energy for weeks at a time. And then once camp was over, it's like you prepared for it all year. And then you had a run of like 9 weeks in the summer of just constant, perpetual go from like 7 in the morning to midnight or maybe, or later. And then you get up the next day and you don't have any break for like 9 weeks of that. And you're wrangling teenagers and it's just like this super intense, energy expensive experience.
Well, you have a break to do your laundry Saturday afternoon to Sunday morning, basically.
Yeah.
So you get like a small window to do laundry and rest, quote unquote.
You're not really, you're just getting done whatever you couldn't get done during the week.
Exactly.
So and then at the end of those 9 weeks, then your family would take like 3 weeks to a month off. Mm-hmm. And go travel and kind of take a little bit of time for themselves. And then fall would start it back up and then you start planning for the next year. And so that ability to just take willpower and energy and just pour it into anything, you watched yourself be forced to do that, and an entire ecosystem supported that over and over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
I grew up in a basically a Groundhog's Week. Not a Groundhog's Day, but a Groundhog's Week. It was packed to the gills with educational and religious, requirements, and we never got a break. Like even when I went on vacation, I was still expected to show up and perform, like to go to religious meetings and to perform religious services, and so I never got a break, and it just meant that I had to just keep going no matter what the context or situation was. But it wasn't as high octane, and so I know that I can just keep going. I know that I can just go. But I also have this idea of like there is no such thing as rest. Like not really. You take rest opportunistically, but really you're just going to be working every day. And there's no such thing as vacation, so you just keep going. And so I don't see myself as a low energy person. I just see myself as kind of like a lower energetic register person. And so you and I have had this
conversation, ongoing conversation.
Right.
We started an important conversation.
It was a crucial conversation around motivation and energy. I think you're more the rabbit and I'm more the tortoise, right? Or the tortoise and the hare. You're the hare and I'm the tortoise. And that was how we were raised. And so this idea of like going faster, I'm like, why would you go faster? Since we're literally never going to stop, why would you put, you can't sprint and marathon at the same time. So you had more of a sprinter way of going about things and I had more of a marathoner way of going about things. And so I always feel like I'm not pushing enough energy through the pipes for you because I'm going too slow. But I also never anticipate rest. I just expect to just keep going. Like vacation is not really vacation in my mind. And when we actually, have we ever actually taken a real vacation? I know we've had like rest times, but I don't know if you and I have ever, I guess we have, but I just, I never register it as a vacation because I'm like, well, we just got to keep going. And I check my email still and I'm still working. I think, though, that what you're talking about, too, is when our energy centers change or when something alters, regardless of how we were brought up, or when we're not allowed to pull on the same strategies we have in the past. How do we get ourselves motivated when our motivational structures shift underneath us? Yeah. Because I actually...
Or the needs of the environment shift and need us to be different.
Correct.
That's the other thing, too.
So I knew we were going to talk about motivation on this podcast, but neither of us really came in with an agenda. We were just going to sort of talk about it. And I thought you weren't going to start, I didn't know you were going to start with that, with the idea of like just being able to go. I thought you were going to talk about that because of another important conversation in our relationship, a crucial conversation. the motivation you used to use in order to get yourself into a space where you could almost perpetually sprint, which was anxiety. That was something that I was like, I can't do it anymore. My FE cannot do anxiety. And so in some ways, I mean, I wouldn't say I took it from you, but anxiety had been such a big part of how you got yourself motivated to do things.
Yeah.
And you've been working super hard because you love me and because my FE, my extroverted feeling harmony 10-year-old, my poor little tertiary was getting all frayed out with anxiety because I was just slurping it up from you. I was like, I can't do it. Like I'm hitting a wall. Like the anxiety is like the worst feeling for me. And so you've been doing all this work to quell your anxiety, try to shift it to excitement, but it's hard to do because that was one of your golden ticket motivators. Yeah. And so one of the reasons I suspect you've been struggling with motivation isn't just your age, you know, it's like don't have as much energy flowing through the pipes as usual, but I think it's also a key motivational strategy you've used your whole life. What do you do when it's just not available anymore? I
have a lot of comments about that. But before I do, I want to hear from you listening right now or watching. What kind of motivation do you deal with in your life? Are you a highly motivated person? Do you find energy, like I'm talking about, really easy to come by, and maybe you're even promiscuous with it? Are you medium level? You have just the right balance? Or are you struggling with motivation? You don't have a lot of energy. You would love some of this promiscuous energy I'm flowing around. You'd love to get some of that for you. Leave a comment, by the way, below. I'd just love to see where people are at right now as we start to develop this idea.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Let's start that convo.
Also, are motivation and energy intrinsically linked is another question I would have.
Well, that's what you were saying about the anxiety thing. So I'm thinking about that. I've been thinking a lot about that lately because I have used anxiety, but I didn't use it certainly before I met you as much. And I certainly didn't use it.
Oh, I brought it on?
Well, I'm saying back in like camp, like the days I grew up.
Yeah.
And I would say I used it more lately, like in the last 5 years. Here's what I think's happening. I think I grew up in a very exciting, dynamic environment that all that energy could attune to. I was wired for it. Anything downcycled from that feels like it's not enough amplitude coming through the system. So I would use synthetic anxiety to because I think anxiety and excitement are the same feeling in the body with different narratives.
Yeah, they feel like two sides of the same coin.
It feels like a very similar energy running, like excitement. When I'm excited for something, I feel very similar to how I feel when I'm anxious. I just have a different story running. Like, oh, this is an awesome thing coming. Oh my God, what's this mean? What's this going to do for it? Like, you know, it's the panic of what's coming versus the excitement of what's coming. It's always future in your head projection. And I think I lived a very exciting life in this manic run all the time. I live an exciting life now, but I'm married. I've got kids. I've got a business. I'm not like 22.
Well, I married you, Antonia, and the excitement ended.
It just killed it. But I'm saying like my life's different now.
Yeah.
I have a family. I'm responsible. I've got a business. I've got all these things running. It's unsustainable for me to pretend like I'm 21 at summer camp.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was 21 at summer camp, that was like 9 weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't do that all year long.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it was like hunter-gatherer energy. Like we're on the hunting party for the summer and then you rest and you relax the fall.
But I think it did wire you in a certain way with certain expectations, and especially when associated with work.
That's right. It needs to be high amplitude intensity.
And the idea that anxiety and excitement are really close together. I think I heard somebody say, maybe it was you, maybe you were quoting somebody, or maybe you just said it yourself, that anxiety is excitement with nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a very interesting idea. So I think what you've been attempting to do, or at least that's what it appears from my perspective, is you've been trying to sort of morph that anxiety into excitement.
Yes.
But it means that we have to have exciting things in our life, or something that you can convince yourself is exciting. I don't know, like I guess as opposed to just talking about what I've observed, how are you doing in that process?
Well, it's really hard. I would also just want to know, if you're watching and listening too, do you have I'll call it a bastardized motivation strategy, where it's maybe not a healthy way to get yourself to do something? Like mine's been anxiety my whole life. I don't know what yours is, Antonia. Probably shame, or is there like anything you've used that's not healthy to motivate yourself? Well, if you're listening or watching right now, I'd love for you in the comments to put, yes, I've used this technique or this strategy to try to get myself to do things. It may not be the most healthy, but here's how I've done it. I'd love to get a sense too from you as you're watching or listening, what comes up for you. So mine, the dirty motivation I've used is anxiety. What was your question about it? Was, what am I doing now?
Or how is the process going of moving the motivation away from anxiety and into excitement?
Well, I have to look forward to things. Part of the challenge is most days we're in a little bit of a defense right now in life because we're having to like fix things and, the world's changing and all that. So I feel a little bit my work is defensive. So there's nothing exciting about it. It's like fixing problems, undoing things, getting rid of something, like calibrating something to be better. Like there's a bunch of things that we're working on like that.
It's not exciting work.
It's hard. So I have to kind of use these mental techniques. If I can abstract it for anxiety to go, if we don't do this, bad things are going to happen. It's like anti-excitement to try to get yourself to do something quick. I can fake out certain exciting things. Like, well, if I get this done, then, and I can like almost pretend or imagine something exciting coming to try to disconnect from the anxious side to the positive, more exciting. It's not easy. I'm still I'm not failing. That's a bad talk. I'm getting better every day at doing this. How's that?
That's right. I'm getting better every day.
I'm improving every day at tuning into something that's exciting and proactive.
Well, and you are tailor-made at this point, whether it's by natural talent or a skill built up over a long period of time. You are spectacularly good at being an MC on a stage. And it doesn't matter the context. Your aunt and uncle had their 50th year anniversary like within the last year or so. And so you showed up. I don't even think that they asked you to do it beforehand. I think that you just showed up and they're like, hey, nobody's MCing this thing. Would you be willing to do so? And you're like, sure. And then you got up and you just like slayed it. You just killed it, not even knowing that that was going to be your job that night.
Yeah.
And all your family and all their friends and family were there and you just like nailed it. And so when you have this really specialized skill of being able to create excitement for how many hundreds of people, and you can just do it on you just turn on a dime and just do it. When you have that inside of you, I'm sure it's always looking for a place to go.
Yeah.
And the challenge with where we're at right now and where the world is at is we used to be able to give you a frequent outlet with live events, and we still do to some extent, but live events are not what they were, or at least that's what it feels like in our industry and in adjacent industries. It's like people kind of are not there. Well, I don't know if they're eschewing live events. I just don't know if I don't know if like it's the economy. I don't know if people just don't want to travel. I don't know if it's financial uncertainty and insecurity, or if it's travel insecurity or political strife, or who knows what it is. But events aren't what they used to be. And so we were kind of amping that up. We were doing more and more and more events to give you more opportunities for that. But right now it's kind of like we're probably going to have to dial back live events a little bit. And so the thing that was your outlet is no longer available to you as easily. And so that stuff is just sort of sitting in you, waiting to direct itself to some context.
Yeah.
And hopefully when we get through whatever this time period is, we'll get to the other side and we'll be able to give you more of those opportunities again. But I can imagine that, it's like hard to be good at something and then not have an outlet for it.
Yeah.
And I think it does turn into a little bit of anxious energy inside.
Yeah. I think having something to look like a creative, something to look forward to usually helps.
Yeah.
Like something that's not, when I say creative, I don't mean like just teaching personality type. Like I've had this idea. It's a very early idea. So at the time of this recording, it's fall. It's autumn. We're coming up into the Halloween season. I keep thinking, man, wouldn't it be awesome to create an experience? I don't know if you remember that Van Gogh experience that was going around a couple years ago where they had like music and projection technology.
Yeah.
Would be so cool around the Halloween time, maybe here in the Northeast of the United States, just as a test, rent out like a really inexpensive warehouse or something and get some volunteers together or people together and create maybe an experience at Halloween time about confronting our shadow, like a Jungian shadow experience for all of us nerds that, don't just want to go run through a cornfield with a chainsaw chasing us, but do something that's like more unique and have an experience that people would come to that's like, it's profound. It's kind of spooky and a little dark and edgy because it's the Halloween time. So that's the attractor, but it would be more, I don't know, it's more, it'd be more Jungian. It wouldn't be so it wouldn't be scary. It'd be more psychologically deeply tuned in.
Yeah.
I like those kind of movies. I like those way better than slasher movies, like the deeper psychological movies and I don't know. So I always think like that. So if I was thinking about that, let's say like next year, and we can't do it this year. It's just too short of a runway. Like if I thought about that, I get people excited. That would make me like looking forward to something for an entire year to build and create and release. So something I think that always helps.
Yeah.
I never feel like I can get to those because I'm in the mire of just day-to-day stuff in life. And I'm sure you listening or watching right now feel very similar. You probably have a bunch of ideas or things that you want to do, and you're like, oh, that would be cool to connect to. I could be motivated toward that. I'd have energy for that. Oh, I gotta do this stuff that I don't have the energy for. I'm not motivated for. I think that's like the human condition pretty much for like 99% of us.
Yeah. Yeah. You asked me what my not healthy motivation is. And by the way, I don't think that anxiety is always an unhealthy motivation. I think anxiety exists for a reason. If you, I mean, you watch the movie Inside Out 2, which if you haven't seen, you must see both of those movies.
That character is totally me.
Oh my gosh. Like that's, if you are familiar with the Enneagram, Joel is a social 6.
What does she say? She's like, it's not, I can't remember. She's like, it's a plan. I'm making a plan.
Yeah. Or
what
she's
could go
like,
wrong? Or,
all good plans have many backups or whatever. It was like, she had like all these contingency plans and all that stuff. And
that's
it was
what I'm always telling our team. Like, we gotta have redundancies of backups.
That character in Inside Out 2 might as well be your little avatar. Like that was totally your character. And that said, I don't think it's always bad. Like anxiety exists inside of us so that we can prepare and plan for the abstraction of the future and tomorrow. Like we have to have like a little bit of like, oh, I should probably get this done. Yeah. It exists for a purpose. It's just, it doesn't work if you're running on it all the time. If it's like your 5 cups of coffee a day is like daily doses of anxiety in order to get yourself to do anything, that'll take a toll on your system.
Well, and when most people talk about anxiety, they're usually talking about social anxiety. Or
in the contemporary age,
interfacing anxiety.
Yeah.
I have zero of that. I don't even like...
Yeah, we know.
I mean, I don't even remotely understand why someone would have it. That's how much I don't have it.
No, I know.
So when I say anxiety, I mean, it's very particular to, I mean, I guess it's probably my personality type. And I bet you anxiety follows our type.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
I'm sure we have a very particular way that each of us is anxious. Mm-hmm. Mine tends to be, with ENFP preferences, tied to my 10-year-old or tertiary of effectiveness, extroverted thinking. Yeah. So anything, anytime time or timelines enter the phrase, instant anxiety, because anxiety is connected to a timeline. It's thinking about the future. Mm-hmm. So anything I'm thinking like, okay, what didn't I do today that I needed to do that's going to be due tomorrow? Or that was due 2 days ago that I forgot about. Somebody's gonna be like, where is this thing? And I haven't even thought of it yet. It's like anxiety for that, the unknown of what I didn't do on a timeline.
Yeah.
I've got resource in the bank and I'm not tethered to a timeline. The anxiety goes out the door. It's not even, I couldn't even find it if I wanted to.
Right.
Because it's dependent on the timeline I'm connected to.
It's associated with extroverted thinking or effectiveness.
Sure.
And so that's a marriage of your Enneagram 6, social 6, with your ENFP nature.
So as you're listening or watching along, obviously we're talking about motivation and anxiety. I think these things are connected. I don't know.
Well, personally. I mean, they are for you for sure.
Yeah.
So to flip it over to my side.
Oh, that's right. What's your dirty motivation?
Did you forget that I was about to get confessional? You're like, where do I go in this podcast? It's very easy. Just throw it back over to me to go like, okay, so I'm going to air my dirty laundry, which is that as an Enneagram sexual 3, and as somebody with ENTP preferences, all of my motivation or like my not super healthy motivation is around reputation and whether or not people are going to think less of me if I don't get something done. So for me, it's like, if I hate editing what I've written. It's like my least favorite thing in the world to edit what I've already written. Once I've written it, I'm just like, I'm not a big fan of writing to begin with. Every time I write, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it takes me forever. I could have just talked into a microphone and made this,
This surprised me, by the way. You're a calibrator at heart. I would think you'd enjoy editing more than the first draft.
Yeah. For some reason, editing language is just not interesting to me. Huh. Yeah. It's just really boring to me. And I don't like editing other people's stuff either. Somebody will be like, can you read this through and edit it? I'm like, oh,
I understand that.
Yeah.
But calibrating your own thought in the written word seems like that would just be like...
Well, I'm doing it as I'm thinking. Like I'm calibrating as I'm thinking. So
this is why it takes you forever to write.
Yeah, it takes me forever to write.
You are editing. You're just doing it. You write a sentence, you fix it, then write the next sentence and fix it. You don't write the whole draft and go back through.
Right. It takes me like...
Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
so you are editing.
8 hours to write a single article, which for somebody else might take them like 45 minutes to an hour, but it takes me hours to write. And I'm just, it's grueling and just takes forever. And I need to become a better writer. I know I do. Like probably 8 years ago, who was on our team at that time, ENTJ preferences, he's like, Antonia, I really think that you benefit from becoming a stronger writer. And I was like, Nee, I don't remember asking you. But he was right. He was totally right. And so I do need to become a stronger writer. So I'm going to try. But the idea of editing what I write is just like, oh, it's so grueling. And so I learned, though, that if I hit publish and now everybody can read it, suddenly I'm absolutely fixated on editing my own words, because now I'm reading them through the eyes of other people. Now I'm like, am I going to sound like an idiot here, or do I have a bunch of grammatical errors or whatever? And so I get motivated by credibility and image and reputation and making sure that, I mean, I'd love to say, because I want other people to be able to take the full meaning and I want to serve them. I'd love to say it's magnanimous, but it really isn't. It's a very Enneagram 3 fear of losing credibility, making sure that I come across well. And so I know I'm motivated by that. And it's okay to have a little of that, just like it's okay to have a little anxiety. It's okay to have a little bit like, I care about my reputation and I care about how people are receiving me and that sort of thing. But if it's too much, if that's like my primary motivation, that becomes a real problem.
By the way, do you hate editing your own video too? Like if you were to talk something out and you went through and edited out the ums and ahs, or I didn't say that well, I want to edit that and say it this way and bring the clip together. Or is it just written word, or is it? I'm
not as big of a fan of that. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of that, but it's easier than the written word. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't like editing the written word.
Specifically the written word.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I think it's because I can't game it. I can't go faster.
Yeah.
There's no game. Well, there is now with AI, but before there was no gamification. There was no. I'm the happiest when I can figure out how to do a task way more efficiently. Like if I can figure out how to game a task, those are my favorites. And then I don't mind taking a long time to figure out how a thing is done or how a process is done, as long as I can find the leverage points and I'm like, oh, I can copy paste here, or I can blah, blah, blah. And I just go super, super, super fast through it at about the 40% mark.
Yeah.
At the 40% mark of a process, I feel like I should be doing it twice as fast as I was doing it for the first 40%. And then by the end, I should be able to do it 10 times faster than anybody else. And editing just doesn't allow you to game it. You just have to read it, and you have to be careful, and you have to cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and you have to make sure, it's just, you can't game it. Except for now, right? And then, but are you really editing if AI is editing for you? So that's so I think that's why, is because it just is, you just always have to do it the hard way.
No one's going to read or write anything. We're going to use
ever
AI
again.
Everybody's going to use AI to write, and then everybody on the other side is going to use AI to read and tell them what it summarize it and read it, and then tell AI to rewrite back to them. So these like long emails or messages will go back and forth to machines that summarize
to each other,
and then like we might as well just pick up the phone and call each other at this point.
Yeah, but at a certain point, like,
it's just going to get really ridiculous.
They're going to be like, you can tell that this podcast is AI. Like at a certain point, we're just not going to create podcasts anymore. We're just going to be like, AI, have me, Antonia Dodge, be speaking on the subject of motivation.
Well, I think that's possible right now.
Yeah, people do that.
People email us into the business every day and say, hey, do you want me to create an avatar for you and Antonia so you guys don't have to go do a podcast anymore? I'm thinking, well, but this is very human. Like maybe in other industries, but this is like the most human thing, talking about type and ourselves and you listening or watching right now. Like that's nuts to create a digital avatar. What's the point of that? Like might as well not do it at all. The absurdity of this in my mind is crazy. Anyway, we're going way off the rails here.
Yeah. So to bring it back to the point of origin of motivation, unless you have like a bunch of stuff you want to say, I was going to say that I've been thinking about motivation a lot because it does feel like motivation comes in layers. It comes in like our baser instincts, the ones that are not particularly healthy for us. And sometimes I think that we have to tune into those. Sometimes I think those are not, we call them not as healthy, but in small doses, they're fine. Having a little bit of anxiety around reputation management, having a little bit of motivation around like fearing that I'll lose credibility if I don't do something well.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that. Like it's okay to have a little bit of that. If it's the reason I become motivated to do things though, then I've stopped being motivated for my own purposes and desires and attunement to self. And now I'm like handing over way too much power to the outside world to make it so that I get things, I do anything.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I still tap into that motivation. I have like a class to teach at a certain day, and maybe I just haven't, I'm teaching so many classes right now, it's ridiculous, but every class I have to tune into and like create nice slides and organize the thoughts around it and get good content and all that stuff. And I don't want to show up and look like an idiot. So I do tune into my students and what they have invested in and making sure that I'm serving them well. And I have a nucleus level understanding of the content and I'm presenting it in a way that makes sense to them. And I do that not just to serve them, but also because I don't want them to be disappointed in me and go, I invested in this program. Why isn't it good? So I still attune to that. But that first layer of motivation, I don't think, and everybody has one that's different, right? And I think it oftentimes is associated with our Enneagram type to some extent. But if we're only ever doing that, I think we get like poisoned with it. You know, like it reaches almost like a toxicity level, and then we get resentful of the very thing that is motivating us. So then I think we have to go like higher order thinking on motivation. Yeah. And at that point, you can attune to quite a few different models of motivation, right? I think we've done podcasts in the past around how they used to think that people were motivated by what's basically sticks and carrots, right? Like punishment or reward. Yeah. And they did quite a bit of research that indicated that people are actually more motivated by what were the three things? It was
like purposeful work or something.
Yeah, or it was like
autonomy of ability to like
autonomy, mastery, and purpose.
That's right.
That's what it was. Thank you. Those were the three things: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So the more I can do it on my own, the more I can feel good about the quality of my work, and the more I feel like the work is going towards something that means something to me. Those are actually much, much more powerful motivators than sticks and carrots. Yeah. And yeah, money is not nearly as good as mastery. Yeah.
I think people should know three broad things about themselves. And I'd love to ask you, if you're watching or listening, if you know one or all of these about yourself, put them in the comments and let us know how you, like we've been talking about, dirty motivate yourself or counterfeit motivations, or I don't know if it's counterfeit. I guess anxiety is useful.
No, they're real.
Things that could be become a problem, like overusing like anxiety. Yeah. But then I think it's also good to know how you genuinely are motivated and being really honest about that. Because I think, and I want to talk about this in a second, I don't think we're honest about what actually motivates us. We feel shame about what we're really motivated toward, like we're not supposed to be. Yes. So that's another part of this, like the energy lie. And then the final one is what demotivates me, what cuts me, it just sucks the energy right out of my, and again, I feel like there's this really close relationship to energy and motivation. I feel like we feel energized when we're motivated. Like I actually feel like I've got more energy when I've got motivation. I think that's it's like a feeling of I've got the resource to do this. That's what it feels to be motivated to me. Yeah. Like I'm inspired and I feel like I've got the resourcefulness to like make this happen, or attune to it, get up early tomorrow and get on it, that kind of thing. Yeah. So I think energy is really important. I don't think you can be motivated without energy, or you can be like abstractly, like the idea of motivation, but can you really truly get in motion?
Correct.
Motivation is motion, movement, action.
Yeah. Motivation actually does. You're totally right. It comes from the word move. And you can't move a car with gas. So you have to have some energy in there in order to start the process.
So we talked about anxiety I use sometimes to motivate, but if I stop for a second, I step back and I go, what am I really motivated by? Anxiety is like a trick or a tool to get the motion going. Yeah. So I'd love to hear from you, listener or watching, what gets your motion going? Like how do you get in motion? But the thing that I'm truly after is recognition. Like I know that if you held out $1 million or my name up on Times Square or something, like that I did something, my authorship of something like Joel Mark Witt podcast or something, and I got credit for something, or I got an award for something on a stage, or somebody recognized me, I know that I would go toward that over the money. I would only go to the money if I thought it brought me that. Like that's how much I know that that's the thing that I am always looking for. And I, for a long time, and even now, I think there's a part of me that still struggles. I feel guilty about that. Like I shouldn't be motivated by credit. Like good people don't need the credit. People that really benefit the world don't need to get credit for it.
That's right.
And if you're,
nobody
right?
good would ever want a return on investment. They're totally magnanimous and they just do things 100% because
no, it's not that. It's like, it's like, I mean, I'll pick on extroverted feeling users. It's like, well, you should care about people no matter if you get the credit or not. You shouldn't have to get rewards for it. Just care about everybody. I'm like,
first of all,
well, I understand that, but I want credit. Okay. I just do. And I'm just like, I'm just not, I don't know. I know. Again, I feel silly and I feel wrong and bad for that sometimes, but I've done a lot of work to go, no, that's just how I'm motivated. That's just true for me.
I know I was being sarcastic there, and I'm sorry if I was being sarcastic about something that's like real for you and stuff.
No, it's not that.
But and I don't. I
dark
think,
or deep. It's fine.
But I think that idea of I don't think it's extroverted feeling users. Like,
I don't mean to pick on them. Yes, sorry.
I'm going to say a whole thing, okay?
All right, go ahead.
All right. So I don't think it's necessarily FJs that say that, but I do think it is I think it's the feeling functions, both introverted feeling and extroverted feeling, that have an affectation of people should do things because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Being totally unaware that when somebody says that, they're basically virtue signaling. They're not representing reality. Nobody does things cleanly based on just trying to be a good human and approaching other people to be magnanimous humans.
The Greeks had a word for this, though.
Well, you mean like agape love?
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are different kinds of love, and agape is one of them. And agape referred to principled love, which is the love we have for humans just because they're human.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that's the only reason we do things, even though it is a form of love that we can feel and express. And it can definitely be a node in the system of our motivation. And sometimes it can be the biggest node in the system sometimes when we do things. Like take, for example, when our heart goes out to somebody who's that we don't know personally, but is in a terrible crisis.
Yeah.
Right? Then we are in that moment highly motivated by agape. And in that moment, it might be the biggest node in the system. But it's not the biggest node in every system. And it can't be because we don't have as individuals the resources for that. If we're doing things just because it's the right thing to do, what you're talking about is like one-sided relationships, basically. You're talking about constantly and perpetually giving without believing you need any return.
Or you're being God.
Or you're being God. That's right.
Basically, your one-sided relationship is God.
Yeah, exactly.
God, he, she, whatever, it gives endlessly.
That's right.
And doesn't really expect much,
nothing in return.
Right.
Well, but even God's stories expect something in return. It's called worship and obedience. Right.
True.
And so even God's stories require something in return. So this idea of like, you should just do it because it's the right thing to do. It's like, okay, so maybe that works on a theoretical level, but it never plays out in reality because it assumes endless amounts of resource that no human is in possession of. And so it's a meaningless statement. It's a statement that people say that makes them feel good to say it, but it actually has no meaning to it because it never plays out that way except in it plays out contextually, but not as a core principle. Like it's only a contextual principle, not a core principle that applies in all situations.
I think it's a power play.
That too.
I mean, it's a way, like in a parent-child relationship, I give 100%, the child gives me nothing. But I'm 100% in charge.
That's right.
And so I've always seen it as kind of a power dynamic is that if I'm the giver magnanimously, that means I'm never at want and I'm never in the deficient side. I'm always on the like superior giving side.
Yeah, exactly.
In a way.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear things like, and not to get too much into it or anything, but you'll hear things like when a man has a daughter, and he's like, I never really thought about women's issues before I had my daughter or like before I was married, but now I understand. And now I'm like, I'm more protective and it really strikes me. And then some people will say, well, you should feel that way even if you didn't have a daughter. And it's like, yeah, well, okay, maybe, but having a daughter humanizes the experience for that person. Like that made it personal to them. And so all of these you should statements, you should just do the right thing based on my assessment of the right thing 100% in a vacuum, having no modifiers. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's true theoretically, but we live in reality, so we get there how we get there. So anyway, but that's neither here nor there.
I want to tune into that for a second and say that's another thing about motivation and energy. I think the more it's personal for us, the more it comes intrinsically.
Yeah.
You know, just like you said with the father-daughter situation, that's an example, one example of something that was motivating for somebody because it was so personal.
Yeah.
Which goes over to, I think, the function that motivation is closely aligned to is my decision-making, authenticity, introverted feeling, that authenticity process. I think we have to feel an emotion to get into motion.
Yeah, it's got to be personal, right?
Well, emotion.
Yeah.
Emotion is part of the word. And so motivation, motion, we feel something deeply and then we get moving.
Well, I think the pi root of the word motivation is like, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like mo or something. And I think in the original Sanskrit, it was like moved by love.
Oh.
Like motivation was originally a long time ago moved by love. And so it does have to be it has to be personal to some extent. And in more contemporary times, I think it means like what incentivizes us.
So then maybe my anxiety is it's an external abstraction that's not personal. That's why it's dirty. That's why it's counterfeit. That's why it doesn't always it's not intrinsic.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to trick myself. I'm trying to use this tool to kind of get myself to do the thing that I want to do or I want myself to do.
Yes.
And I think, and I want you again, if you're watching or listening, tell us what your strategy is in the comments, because I think we all have one of these that we try to force that's external of us.
Yeah.
But okay. You probably have somewhere you want to go. You have some things you want to say.
Well, I always have a lot of things to say, but if you have a specific thing you want to head towards, I certainly will go that. But there was a couple other different things.
Sure, go ahead, please. I like the distinctions.
Okay. Well, and it's because I took us off on the whole like virtue signaling thing that I'm like, okay, whatever. But I think you mentioned feeling guilt that you want credit. Like something made you feel guilty about that. And I kind of want to close that loop.
Not
if that works.
supposed to.
Yeah. And bringing type theory in here, not just Myers-Briggs, but also the Enneagram and Enneagram instincts, I think that's a social subtype sort of phenomena.
My American Puritan roots of humility coming through?
No, the social subtype, being a social subtype makes you want to have credit.
Yes.
Yeah, like credit is part of being a social subtype.
What's the currency?
That's right, exactly.
Hierarchy, credit, status. It's what the currency of the social subtype is.
Yeah, and so to say like I shouldn't feel that way is another way of saying like I shouldn't be a social subtype.
I also feel guilty about being a social subtype.
Do you?
Well, I feel like it's like, because it's connected to those motivation structures of like, I don't like to be in a group I'm not in charge of. I like the credit. I like to be in charge. You know, I've been told these are all bad and wrong things. Now, I don't necessarily really own that and think they're all bad and wrong, but certainly people have their experiences with it all. And so I'm like, okay, so I've had to like work through that and come to my own conclusions around it. Yeah. So when I say I struggle against thinking credit is wrong, I've decided that I'm not going to let that stop me. And I'm going to say that's truly what motivates me.
Yeah.
Now, if I don't get it, does that mean I'm demoralized and does it kill my motivation?
Right.
That's the thing I can't let happen.
Yes.
So it can draw me, but I can't let it, if it doesn't happen, well, my life's over, it's done. I didn't get what I wanted.
Right. This is in the program we teach called Personality Dynamics Mentorship. It's basically training for coaches and practitioners to use deeper Jungian and cognitive function and type principles as practitioners, like in your coaching and your therapy and that kind of thing. And we were going pretty deep into Jungian complexes. And the phrase we kept saying in that class was, it's a problem when it's a problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't worry about rooting out every complex you have because you're filled with them. And most complexes are just actually, weirdly enough, are just like how you see yourself in your personality. It's just part of your, some Jungian psychologists think that complexes basically are your personality. But when the complex is making it so that you can't do what you want to do, or you are doing things compulsively you don't want to do, then it's a problem and you need to address it. And I would say the same thing happens when we recognize things that are particular to our personality types, whether they're in like any type system. There's nothing wrong with being a social subtype until there's something wrong with being a social subtype. Like, it's not a problem until it's a problem. And I would say what you just said nails it. And I think generally when we think about our personality types, whatever systems we're using, I think that's kind of like the most balanced way of seeing it, is it's like there's absolutely nothing wrong with being an ENTP, right? Having ENTP preferences, there's not, Okay,
Antonia.
I should have used a different type because I knew you were going to say that. But there's nothing wrong with it until there's something wrong with it, until it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Until having ENTP
one-sided, like if
Yeah.
you're not rounding your personality out.
or just like, hating certain things, because I have ENTP preferences, so I'm not doing the things I'm supposed to be doing because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is boring. Like I said, editing, because you can't game it. And so if I'm just perpetually avoiding anything that can't be gamed, now it's a problem to be an ENTP. So
Yes.
it's not a problem until it's a problem. And so I think that we should totally accept our type preferences no matter what the system is, and then notice all the times that it's a problem and go, okay, well now it's a problem, and now I need to not just go, oh, I'm an ENTP, that's just who I am. I have to go, okay, I have ENTP preferences and it's creating a bit of a challenge here, so how do I get around that? How do I address it? So being a social subtype, it's not a problem to want credit until not getting credit is now disincentivizing you, demoralizing you, creating all of these challenges, like making it so that you're dysthymic and you now lack motivation, right? And I mean, I guess that's all me just diving into theory again. But to go back to the topic, is you recognizing that you want credit, you recognizing that you will exploit anxiety to get something done, is a massive aha and self-awareness.
Yeah.
And you going, I need to do a higher order of this. What actually motivates me? Oh, credit. Credit actually motivates me.
And credit, yeah.
Excitement and credit motivate me. So that's actually better than me just like emotionally manipulating myself into doing stuff I don't want to do,
Yes.
right? And then pumping my system full of a bunch of cortisol and fraying my wife's emotions out and or whatever else is happening around me, right? Like that's all not good stuff. So what's the higher order? And then going, oh, well, it's credit and excitement, but credit is actually a big part of it. Okay, so now I get to a place where I'm like, in this situation, I will not be able to get credit. So do I just not do it? And then I think you were going to go to the next higher order, which is what motivates us. What do we use and exploit to motivate us? What actually motivates us? And then what was your third layer?
It was more, maybe it's hierarchical, I don't know. It was what could gut your motivation.
Oh, and what demotivates?
And I don't think just because I'm motivated by credit doesn't mean I have to be. I just think it's good for us to know what it is, whatever it is. So if you're the person watching or listening right now, it's good for you to know what you are motivated by and be honest about it.
Yeah.
And at first, when I was honest about it, I'm motivated by credit. I didn't want to admit it for years. Like unconscious would not see it because I thought it was bad and wrong to be motivated by that. So I would be like, no, I'm not motivated by that. I'm motivated by it. And I'd fill in all these other things. But at the end of the day, if I'm honest with myself, no, that actually is what I care about. And again, I felt a little guilty caring about that. I had to get over that and just claim it. Say, nope, that's what gets me going. That's what I'm motivated. And there's other things too, but that's just an example of one.
What demotivates you?
Pointlessness. Like if
Lacking purpose, you mean?
Yeah, I think lacking purpose, pointlessness. Like right now, I'm having a little bit of hard time because of all the coming changes in the world. I'm thinking, well, I have an idea for a book. And I'm thinking, do I want to sit down and spend time writing a book and getting it published a year from now? And then AI is just going to come and eat the world.
Yeah.
What's the point? It's pointless. There's no, it doesn't go, it's not going to just writing a book at all, not just me, anybody. Is there any point to it? I don't mean to be demoralizing, but I think about those kinds of things but if I knew that was going to be there a point to it, then I would get to it. So I think that's one of the reasons, and I wonder and I'd love to hear from you if you're listening or watching, because I am trying to understand this, how much future concerns are robbing people of their motivation and their spirit right now. Because I know it's doing it for me, but I'm also highly intuitive and I'm always focused on the future as an Enneagram 6, like you said, Antonia. So I don't know if my experience is too unique and just specific to me, or if other people are tuned into this as well. And they're looking at this going, well, it's like if you knew that your house is going to burn down in 3 months, you're not going to work on fixing it up much. You're not going to repair the walls or clean it. You're going to get all your stuff out before it burns down. Yeah. And I don't mean to be that severe. I don't know if there's a place for books or not in the future, but I think the nature of our relationship to information and how we go through our lives is so up for debate and up for pivot.
There's a lot of unknowns.
It's so uncertain where the future's going, unknown where the future's going. I kind of feel like, what's the point in doing anything?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm really honest with myself, I'm still doing things. We're still recording podcasts.
Yeah.
There's going to be somebody right now. I know there are people right now creating characters and then program them to talk about type. Mm-hmm. They're not even real humans, personality type. They're like avatars that are talking about personality type on camera.
What's it like to be your personality type? And then
the
like
person's
this AI
answering,
avatar is talking about being an INTJ or something.
And I'm going, wow, what does this mean for my life's work?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, what does this mean for what I've done for the last 15 years? Yeah. And you and I have spent time developing these skills and pouring ourselves into understanding this. And I go, well, you know what? That's, in a way, I think the world's going to need, I don't know how to package it yet. Mm-hmm. Or get it to people, but the world's going to need this more than ever because it's human, it's subjective and internal. It's about our psychology. It's about dysregulation, regulation. It's about uncertainty. It's about all the things that make us humans that a machine will never be able to solve out here. Yeah. And so this is not, Jungian stuff isn't going away. Yeah. It's just the mechanism of how we talk about it and how I reach you, the person that's listening or watching right now. How do I get to you in the future? That's really the only question, is how do we communicate with each other and how do we talk about these things and have these experiences and make it all work? Yep. That's the big thing. So that's demoralizing. Pointlessness.
Totally makes sense. Okay. And I have something I'm going to tag around that. I'm going to tag the word certainty.
Slowness too.
Yeah.
If things go too slow.
Yeah.
I think literally speed motivates me.
Okay.
Like not speed, like taking speed. Not the 1960s,
not
like
amphetamines.
Not like hippie speed. Although maybe
were hippies doing speed? Or was it the yuppies?
I don't know. Okay. I thought it was, now you took me on a whole other rabbit trail.
All right. But I was saying a thing. All right, you've already completed your thought.
What's your thing?
So speed. All right, so
not that kind of speed.
I'm gonna tag what you said around pointlessness or purposelessness. I'm gonna tag the word certainty and uncertainty there because I think that there's an association. So I want to come back to that in just a moment. But for me, my self-exploitation motivation is image, right? Making sure that people see me in a certain way, and for me as a sexual 3, it's like, well, if I can't be stunningly beautiful, at least I can be like ridiculously clear in my communication. Yeah. Like ridiculously articulate. And so as a sexual 3, that like became my competitive advantage, right? And so I know that that's the thing that I exploit inside myself.
I'll wow you with my articulation.
I'll wow you with my, my big throbbing brains, right? And so, but not necessarily, I don't think of myself as the smartest person, but I think of myself as one of the most thoughtful and articulate people, or at least that's been I don't actually think of myself that way. I want to be that way. And so I always pursue it. I do actually have people in my life that I would say are better than me on that. And so I'm never the best, but I want to be. And so I push forward with that. And then if I can get feedback that I am the best or I'm doing the best, I know that that's very motivating to me. And so that's my self-exploitation version.
You think that's why you ask for feedback at the end of the podcast?
Probably.
You read something that's like, oh, I enjoyed this podcast. This is what it said. Yep. Like they make a comment, you're like, oh, okay, I'll do that again next week then. It like gets you going.
So there was somebody who made a comment a lot of years ago that said, I love Antonia's diction. And I was like, oh, that all by itself probably kept me going for like 3 years all by itself. I love Antonia's diction.
Fair enough.
So that's my self-exploitation one. My second layer is, what do I really want? What I really want is love, right? It's very extroverted feeling, like just like you want credit, which is social subtype. I just want to be loved. Right. I want to be liked and loved, and I want people to like want to be my friend, and I want at the end of the day, I actually want intimacy. I don't want somebody to just like me. I want somebody to know who I am and what I'm thinking, like deep down, really want to pursue what's going on inside of me. And I think that's a very sexual subtype desire, like the desire to be wanted, like I want to be wanted as a friend, or want to be wanted as an intimate an intimate partner, even if it's not like romantic partner. So I feel like that's very associated with my instinct. And the thing that demotivates me is boredom. Boredom is very demotivating to me, as in like it just saps my energy so fast. I just want to fall asleep when I'm bored. the thing is that I discovered this when I was young, and I was in a lot of boring situations when I was a kid, and I wasn't allowed to fall asleep, like church situations. And so I learned how to keep my brain active. So the worst context for me is when I have to pay attention to some extent, right? Like I have to just be kind of present with the situation, but it's not giving me enough puzzles to solve. It's not giving me enough, like I can't just kind of get in my head and start like solving a puzzle over here. I have to be present, but there's no puzzles to solve in front of me.
Aware of things that are uninteresting. You have to be attuned and present to something that actually doesn't really interest you.
That's right. That is not forcing my brain to work or solve problems or whatever. And that just will, I want to conk out. I'll like just start automatically falling asleep. So it's very demotivating to me. Yeah. Demotivating in the sense of not like, well, what's the point? But as in like, all my energy is saps out of me and I just go gunk.
Yeah.
So, and then I think another thing, let's see, demotivating. When I think what I do will not be received well.
Yeah.
Like when I've put a lot of time and effort into something and the person who receives it won't even try to understand it. They won't even meet me halfway. They'll either get triggered or they'll see it through their own biases, or because most of the offerings I have, like the things that I give as quote unquote gifts.
Yeah.
Most of that I package tends to be thought labor. And if the person that receives it, like whenever we do a podcast and somebody, you can tell kind of almost is willfully misunderstanding and getting like upset. Like I edit those out, because if I read those comments too much, if they like every episode they take exception to something that they're just not thinking about it deeply enough, or they're just not trying to meet us halfway or meet me halfway. I just like, why would I make anything for you? Like that's very demotivating. So, so I think that those are probably my layers. But, we've done podcasts before on this, and this is something that is like woven into almost every single one of our premium programs, which is that I think of the cognitive function stack, the Jungian stack for personality types, like your dominant, auxiliary, tertiary, and inferior, what we call the CAR model.
Yeah. Driver, co-pilot, 10-year-old, 3-year-old.
Right. I used to call them a descending order of sophistication, but I don't think that anymore. I now think of them as a descending order of certainty. And we wove this into the how to love yourself as each of the personality types. We talk about that descending order of certainty and how that shows up for us.
It's a great podcast series. You should go listen to it for your type. How to love yourself as your personality type. Got 16 of them. It probably should have been like a program.
It should have been premium content, actually.
But it's really good. We spent a lot of time putting them together.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think they're really good.
Yeah, I think they're super good.
People get a lot of value out of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it as a class, it's really, there's a lot to it.
People say they cry because they feel like they really were seen in those episodes for their type.
I didn't know people
There are
cry.
a lot of people have talked about how they've really felt seen by those.
Oh.
I keep saying it because it's free. It's on YouTube
go watch it.
and all the open channels. Like you don't have to pay anything. You go tune into your type right now, and it's how to love yourself as your personality type on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So I didn't know people cry, and I like it when people cry. I love it when they cry. So the reason why I say that is because I think certainty and uncertainty are very tied into human motivation. When we feel certain about something, we're highly motivated. It's almost like we can't unsee it. Right. And then especially if we feel certain about a topic, or we feel certain about ourselves in that context or topic. Like I feel certain that I know, or I see this clearly, or this is a thing, or this will happen, or whatever it is. The concept of certainty is very motivating to us. We just find our energy moving forward. The phrase, I can't unsee it, is a certainty statement, right? It's like, I can't unsee it. I just know this to be true. Certainty is very motivating. And uncertainty is the opposite. Uncertainty will cut our legs out from under us in motivation like crazy, because now we feel like we have to waffle. Now we feel like we have to kind of go back and forth, and we don't know what will happen if we move forward, and we're not sure what's going to be going. It's like, I don't I don't know the outcome. I don't know if this is worth the return, this will have return on investment. I don't know how other people will receive it. I don't know if it will give me a good experience. I don't know how it's going to make me feel. I don't know what my beliefs are around that, right? I can't future predict. I don't, it's like, I've never seen this before. It's like anytime we're in a space of uncertainty, we just throttle ourselves like crazy.
Yeah.
And if our functions are a descending order of certainty, that means that we're going to have the most energy and just natural forward movement toward anything that's in our first two functions, because those are the areas of certainty. Like, I know myself, and I know myself in this context, and I understand those contexts. Like, when the world is giving me something that lights up and asks for one of my first two functions, I'm going to be motivated towards it. I'm going to start moving, right?
Yeah.
And I also think that the 10-year-old or tertiary function is motivating because we are uncertain there, but it's part of what Dr. John Beebe would call the axis of relating to others. So when we relate to what that basically means is that the two functions that are the axis of relating to others effectively means these are the functions that show up when other people are around.
Yeah.
When other people sort of remind us of their existence, these are the functions we tune into. The co-pilot or auxiliary is our certain function that's in the axis of relating to others. So we show up as experts here. We show up as also nurturers. We try to help people out with this function. But because the 10-year-old or tertiary, or what John calls the eternal child energy, is uncertain, but it's our relational, it means that we are on some level, and when I say this, I sometimes get pushback, but I'm like, no, just sit with yourself and see how you do this, because you are doing it, and you're doing it probably unconsciously. But on some level, we are always trying to get the outside world to tell us that we're okay here. Mm-hmm. Because as humans, we hate that feeling of uncertainty, right? We hate it because it's demotivating, it's undermining. We thrive on certainty, and so we're always seeking it. And if I feel uncertain here, but I can get somebody else to make me feel certain, then I will do cartwheels to get that certainty. And that's why I think for me, credibility, not credit, but credibility, right? Like you are worthy of being loved and known and having intimate relationships, because you have done well in what you have offered and what you have given to the rest of humanity.
You're talking about your personality type.
As an ENTP.
As an ENTP with harmony or extroverted feeling as a 10-year-old or tertiary. This is where you see this being connected to your motivation and what gets you going. Harkening
back to what I said before, right? Which is my lowest order is image management. My middle one is love and acceptance and approval. Credibility. And then my demotivator, this doesn't go into demotivator as much, but those two layers are very much woven into my extroverted feeling or harmony, 10-year-old or tertiary function, which is like, hey, do people like me? Right? Am I lovable? Do people want to hang out and know who I am and give back to me when I give to them? And so that's the dirty motivation, quote unquote. Like, a little bit of it is okay, but if we over rely on that part, then that's when we start to feel icky, because we can feel ourselves giving our power over to other people, that we are overly responsive or reactionary to the outside world. But it is highly motivating.
Yeah.
And then our final function, our inferior, or what we call the 3-year-old in the car model, this is a place of deep uncertainty. But Dr. John Beebe calls it the axis of relating to self. And so it's like the least motivating of all of our functions. It's the thing that just sort of strips us. And we go, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here, so I guess I just won't think about it. Or we get like fixated on it. We're like, am I doing it right yet? Am I doing it right yet? But we can't get outside feedback that says, yep, you're doing it right, because we don't care, because it's our relationship to ourselves. And so we're almost like building sandcastles as fast as we can just to have the ocean pull it out of certainty. And it's really, actually, when we find ourselves in a place of demotivation, it's usually we're experiencing uncertainty, and oftentimes it's in an area where we can't manufacture certainty in any way.
Yeah.
And I think that going back to that original, it's not carrots and sticks, but it's autonomy, mastery, and purpose.
Yes.
Autonomy mastery, and purpose are all related to certainty. I can do this on my own. I'm good at it. And I know it means something.
Yeah.
Right. And so really, I think motivation might be linked most to the feeling of certainty than anything else. And so when I'm seeking to get motivation and I can't find it, I ask two questions. First, excuse me, am I just out of energy? I'm not demotivated. I'm just tired. And sometimes just getting into action and getting into motion will generate some energy and it'll be okay. But it's like, do I just need to rest? Is that just what's going on? But the second one is, where am I experiencing uncertainty that is cutting the legs out from under me of why I'm doing what I want to be doing? Like, where's the uncertainty? Where's the thing that's the throttling energy that when I put some energy towards it, it's like I'm in a hamster wheel because it just doesn't know where I'm going. It doesn't have a sense of certainty. So I don't know that I'm right on that, but that's what's kind of coming up for me, or has been for a while, is that I think it actually might be related to certainty and uncertainty, which conveniently can be mapped in our car model.
Yes. Just in case you don't know the map she's talking about, that car model, the cognitive function map that she's referencing, head over to personalityhacker.com/car model. We've got some material there to unpack that for you, give you, for your personality type, a framework. It's a map basically of your mind, how you're learning information, make decisions. It's a really great resource for you to get started over there. We probably should say those in the future at the beginning, just in case somebody is confused and they tune out before they get that resource. They can follow along with what you just said. Right. But hopefully you made it through all of that, because I agree with you about the certainty and uncertainty. I think when we feel uncertain, I think that's probably the meta way that we kill out our motivation, all of us. And I'd like to hear also, if you're listening or watching, does that resonate? Mm-hmm. If you look at your life and you realize what demotivates you. So we talked about, what's your counterfeit motivation? I still want to hear from you on that. Leave that in the comments below.
Your dirty motivation.
Yeah, counterfeit, dirty motivation. What truly motivates you? If you're really honest with yourself, what gets you going every day, even if it's something that you're quote unquote not supposed to be motivated by, or you feel a little shamed, or you feel like guilty about it. And then also, what's the demotivator for you? And I bet you we could connect this almost certainly to uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to see how that's playing out. Do you sense that there's things uncertain in your life and that's what you're not motivated toward? Like, I'm thinking about, I have a family member in my life. I won't name who they are. They're a young person, somewhat closely related to me. And I'm watching them kind of not get on with their life. Mm-hmm. They need to kind of get into the next phase. But so I'm thinking, what's going on? Why aren't they wanting the next goal? Or why don't they want to get a better job and move to the next phase of life? And if I step back and I think about it, I'm watching a ton of uncertainty in front of them. Mm-hmm. That's what's preventing them from moving forward. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm saying, okay, that's why that person isn't, as you said that, I'm like, that is definitely a key factor in this.
Yeah.
That the uncertainty, and I think that's where doing it anyway, moving forward with that uncertainty, that's where a lot of the work that we do with our clients is, there's parts of us that we have to show up to that we'll never feel certain about.
Correct.
And if we're waiting for certainty to have the energy or the motivation, we're going to be waiting a long time. And I think that's where we use those counterfeit things, or the other certain strategies will come in.
I think that maybe one of the highest leverage things a person can do, like one of the best gifts they can give to themselves, is the ability to make peace with uncertainty.
Yeah.
Like if you can just, because it doesn't feel good. Uncertainty always feels icky.
Yes.
Right? It always feels like off, or something's wrong, or it's a red flag.
Humiliating sometimes.
All the icky feelings come up. But if you can just go, okay, those are the things I'm going to be feeling, right? Like
that's a confident person. Like, if you really, I think confidence is people that are like, I don't know what's happening. I'm a little uncertain, but I'm going to just be present. I'm going to laugh about it. I'll just be present here to this thing. Yeah. Whatever. And they can still hang with you. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you look at TV shows, like where there's like this, it's like a mercenary type character that doesn't really know how to fix the situation, but they just always like take it in stride, and they just, those shows or those movies where the character just enters an uncertain situation.
They like sigh and then they do it anyway.
They have no idea how it's going to turn out. Now we as watchers know that the main character probably not going to die.
Right.
They don't know that though, as the character in the story, but they sometimes just address it like, I'm uncertain, but I'm going to go into this anyway. And we look at that as a confident character that owns themselves and we want to be more like them. We aspire to.
What's one of Han Solo's most famous lines? Never tell me the odds.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just going to go do it. It doesn't matter. Like, you can tell me the odds, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah.
He made peace with uncertainty. And I think that's a person that has confidence. They're not worrying about that to go forward.
Well, the corollary here is that a person of courage isn't someone who doesn't have fear. It's someone who does it even when they are afraid, right?
Yes.
Courage is doing things despite your fear. And I think that there's a similar pattern here. It's like a confident person isn't somebody who doesn't experience uncertainty. They do it anyway. That's basically what I'm hearing from you. And I think that's true. And what's great is that if you do it anyway, pretty soon you have a track record of getting through uncertain times, right? You have this like catalog of all the times you've watched yourself go through uncertainty and you got to the other side. I mean, I guess if you died, you just don't self-reflect, but if you didn't, right? If you actually got through it, almost always when people go through an uncertain time and get to the other side, they're like, oh, that made me stronger. If they pause long enough to take an accounting of it. And so the idea of being willing to go through uncertain times and just take the hit of all the weird, icky emotions.
Yes.
Pretty soon, it's not like they ever go away. You just kind of get used to them, right? You just kind of get inured to the feelings, and then they feel like they go away. They feel like they're not as bad. And you have this track record of all the times you got to the other side and you went, well, I know that feeling's not going to kill me, right? I know it's going to be fine. So I'm going to just keep going. And then energy is almost always generative. So even when you lack the energy for something, if you do it anyway, oftentimes your body will find the energy, right? You'll find it. If you need to rest. But if you're just like, oh, I have to do a lot of energy management because I don't know if I'm going to have the energy for it. I know some INJ types, and they're the ones who are always counting their energy. But I know some INJ types that are like Energizer bunnies. They just keep going. And it's because they figured it out. They went, well, if I just keep going, then I find that I just keep going. I get on a momentum run and I just keep going and I have the energy for it. So both things, both low energy and also uncertainty, can be things that if not fought, right, not seen as immediate red flags, not assumed are the ultimate undermining component, both of them can be overcome just by doing. Now, I mean, there's going to be somebody out there who's like, I have a pre-existing condition and I don't have energy because I, have perpetual health issues and stuff. Okay, just know that I'm not talking about anybody who has...
There's always edges of the bell curve.
There's always edges of the bell curve.
We're not making a monolith statement for 100% of people on the planet.
Right. But for most people, this is true. For most people. And I think it's worth testing to see if I'm one of those people, right? If I have limiting beliefs that start me out to go, oh, I'm not the person that they're talking about, I'd say try it out. Because here's the deal. Even though I am a person who can just keep going, I don't have your energy. I'm not a sprinter. I'm a marathoner. But I will say, even in my marathons, I have also seen myself or thought of myself as a person who only has a certain amount of energy and can't push through. And I have, over the last few years, watched myself pull energy out of a hat that I did not think was available to me and hit walls and gone, oh my gosh, I can't do that ever again. And then next time found that same amount of energy, but I didn't hit a wall. And then the next time found that same amount of energy and it was totally fine. So I've
you know why, right?
Realized that energy is actually also a skill, just like energy in the gym, energy to run, energy to lift weights. There's a psychological component to that too.
The first time you did it, you were the most uncertain about it.
Correct.
The next time you have more certainty.
That's
even
right.
if you don't know, even if it took a lot of energy to do it. And the third time or the fourth time, you're more and more certain as you do this.
So uncertainty was not taking some of the energy. You got it. That's exactly it.
So uncertainty doesn't last forever.
It doesn't give you the same hit, that's for sure.
You can feel that, but you can start to build the muscle to accommodate for it.
Yep, you got it.
So I think we probably need to wrap up because I have more things I want to say.
Yeah.
But I think we should just end this episode and conclude here.
We've gone on a bit, so we could probably conclude it here.
So I know we've talked about motivation before and energy. I think the big takeaway for me is those three areas. What what is my counterfeit or dirty motivation, what is truly motivating me, and what kills my motivation through the lens of this certainty uncertainty model. I think that's really the key. I think that's the ingredient base. Now, your assignment, if you've been watching or listening, is to come on to the comment field, either below this episode, whatever platform you're using. Usually YouTube is the best place to do it right now, or even on our website.
And I figured out how to find Spotify comments, so you could put it there.
I think there might be an opportunity for us to be publishing on Substack soon. So there might be a portal for you to put some, I'm going to meet with a friend of mine, Shin Guy, very soon to talk about some strategy around Substack. And I think that's another place we'd like to have some distribution, meet people and have our content come out. So that might be another place to go.
Yep.
So wherever that is to comment, please come over and let me know in that ingredient base. Let Antonia know. Let's get a discussion started around how you're seeing motivation for yourself, those 3 areas, but also your relationship to certainty, uncertainty. Have you noticed those 2 levers help get you going, or they stop you from moving?
Yeah.
And
how does type come in here, do you think?
How does your personality type relate to this? You could throw in your Enneagram if you know that.
Yep.
And also, what is your relationship to energy? Right? We talked about the very beginning of this episode was I laid the groundwork of energy first. I think they're intrinsically linked with motivation. And I'd love to get a discussion started. Maybe there's some ideas people will offer that will kick off another episode in the future.
Speaking of which, you're a social subtype and I'm a sexual subtype, but the self-preservation subtypes or instincts weren't really mentioned.
Well, I've sent carrier pigeons to all the cabins in the woods they're living in. The carrier pigeons will be there in 3 weeks when it finally arrives at their little bunkers where they're all...
The self-preservation's always so misunderstood.
I'm kidding.
But I will say energy management is a self-preservation motivation.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people who don't think they have enough energy, usually they're, no matter what type they are, oftentimes they have IJ preferences in Myers-Briggs, but not always. Sometimes they're IPs or whatever. But self-preservations feel like they never have enough energy. So
there's extroverts that are
self-preses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All types can be self-preservation.
Correct. Exactly. And the extroverts who are self-pres have a tendency to be more conservative with their energy. So,
by the way, this is the only place I can kind of talk about this. Like it doesn't necessarily have relation to you if you're listening or watching, but I'll just say it that. So we're in the middle of our personality life path mentorship right now. We've got a new class and we're like week 3, I think, at the time of this recording. Fantastic class. But after that class, we have another program called Life Path Coaching, which takes everything you learn in that class. That's not sustainable you can't do that all the time. Life Path Coaching is a lot longer and the calls are less frequent, and we tune into the person's life and as they're living life. So you have to have already gone through PLP before you can join this. It's a group coaching program. And I'm excited because our next quarter of this, we're actually going to take those Enneagram instincts and we're going to explore with that cohort over the next 6 calls, like the next 6 sessions. Basically, the question is, why does the Enneagram get to own those instincts of self-preservation, one-to-one, and social? Like, those could be tied to cognition in the cognitive functions and Myers-Briggs side.
Yep.
So I'm just excited that the next cohort of this, you won't be able to, if you're just a listener or watcher here, if you haven't gone through PLP, you wouldn't be able to join this.
Right.
But it doesn't matter because I'm just excited about developing this concept further and some of those connections in that course, because it probably will maybe someday bleed out into the podcast a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you want to get a head start, you should join programs like PLP and other high-level things. We've got all sorts of stuff running, coaching programs, training programs, courses, our owner's manuals for your best fit type. I'm telling you, get into this ecosystem and change your life for the better.
Yeah, for sure.
We really want to see you enjoy this and move forward in life in all these areas. So come over to personalityhacker.com, make your voice heard, and get into the program that makes sense for you. My name is Joel Mark Witt.
I'm Antonia Dodge.
We'll talk to you on the next Personality Hacker podcast.